What is happening, PGA DFS fans? Welcome back to another one of my top 5 videos, and thank you all for coming back and joining me here. This one, well, it's the all-important fades video. Of course, you can't play everybody. Certainly can't play everybody to their projected ownership. So in this video, I give you the top 5 golfers that I'm playing underweight or even a full fade. Typically, that doesn't happen this week for the PGA Championship. And of course, with such big a contest, trying to get leverage against the field is always important. So I'm going to give you my 5 best opportunities to do so. Now, I'm going to hopefully, I don't have much to do to beat my last week's performance, as 4 of the 5 golfers ended up making the cut. Siwoo Kim and Hideki Matsuyama, well, they finished outside the top 30, but Will Zalatoris and Daniel Berger were the other 2 golfers that I decided to fade, and Zalatoris T16 and Berger T3, not very good. Now, I did have one miscut in there, Scott Piercy. He didn't end up coming in that highly owned. I think he was around 5%. So for me, not a great week, but sets the bar pretty low for this week, and I got a big time name that we're going to start off with. Big time name. It's Bryson DeChambeau. 17% projected ownership, and I think I understand why, given the price at $10,200, but his irons and around the green game for a major, he's going to need to hit 75% of his greens, and I don't think he's going to be able to use his distance all that much here this week, especially given the fact that the downwind holes, golfer's going to be getting that little advantage with him, and the into the wind holes, well, not even Bryson DeChambeau could drive it that much further when there's a wind element. So for me, 17%, I would rather play Jordan Spieth, who's 15%. In fact, I'd rather go down to Xander Schauffele, who's even 16% similar. For me, I'm not going to say it's a full fade of DeChambeau at 10-2, but I will be underweight here this week. We take a look at his most recent form, 9th a couple of starts ago, but 55th there last week in Dallas, and nothing was really going for him. Then we look at the majors, did not do good there at Augusta the last 2 times, 34th and 46th. So for me, I just don't think we need to pay $10,200 for Bryson DeChambeau this week. Second guy I'm fading, another big name, Webb Simpson. What a surprise. Maybe if he was like 8,600, I'd play him, but not at 9-2, given the fact that we have no idea where his game is. He hasn't played in a little while. He had to withdraw from his home event. So for me, just not going to get to Webb Simpson all that much. There's just better golfers in that range for me. And if we take a look at his strokes gained ranks, don't get me wrong, it seems to be consistent, or at least it was last year, right? And that's why we like to play Webb Simpson, is because of the consistency. 51st off the tee, 58th on the approach, 15th around the green, and 16th putting. But for me, I think he's going to struggle a little bit here this week. Another golfer that I am going to be fading, and it's a typical fade for me at a major, I guess. This Tyrrell Hatton, 18% owned, and that's because he's only $8,000 on salary. But the major form, especially the last 5, where he's missed 3 out of the 5 cuts, it's just not there. And I don't think we need to go there, given the fact that we've got a couple of other golfers that are going to be similar ownership, who I think are in much better form. Now, if we look at the strokes gained rank specifically for Hatton, we can kind of understand why gamers want to play him. I mean, given the fact that he's 20th off the tee this year, 9th on the approach, struggling around and on the green a little bit, 193rd around the green. Wow, that's pretty terrible. 53rd putting. So here's what I'm going to say. If you expect Tyrrell Hatton to hit more than 70% of his greens in the first 2 rounds, okay, I can get behind, I guess, a little bit of Tyrrell Hatton. I don't think he's going to hit 75% of his greens, and I think he's going to hit more like 60%, and that's going to send him home early this weekend. So Tyrrell Hatton, he is my 3rd fade. My 4th fade, well, and my 5th fade, I should say. Big surprises here. All right, let's talk about Corey Conners first. 7,600. Back-to-back top 10s at Augusta in his last 2 majors, so that looks good. But maybe the bit of regression that I expected to happen with Conners did happen in his last start. Came in 43rd at Wells Fargo in an event that should be pretty well set up for him, given the fact that he should hit a ton of greens and wouldn't have to worry about the around the green game. But he had to, and 43rd, well, I think at 7,600, there are a couple of other golfers in this range that we can expect to outperform, say, 43rd. And the fact that he's 20% owned at 7,600, it's not nearly as good a value as what we got at 6,900 at Augusta. So for me, I'd rather go to somebody like who I have in my PGA DFS Top 5 Sleeper video, and that's Mark Leishman. So Corey Conners, 20% projected. I won't be higher than 10% this week. And my last guy I'm going to fade, this is really not a surprise. But I need to talk a bit about last week and why it shouldn't have been a fade, but it was, and why this week it's okay to be in the fade. And last week wasn't. It's Daniel Berger. All right, Daniel Berger has shown now over the past year and a half that low-scoring events where he likes to play is where he's done best. Talk about Pebble Beach. He's done well there. He won this year. A couple of the other events which require some pretty low scoring last week even. Or take a look at RBC Heritage. He's done well there now since it's been easier. So for me, I don't think he's ready to compete at the majors. I don't think his game is good enough, especially around the green. That's kind of the theme that you've seen now with my last 3 golfers I'm fading. They're all ranked outside of the top 150 and around the green. And I think you're going to need that much more this week, especially to win. And at 8,725% owned for Daniel Berger, he's creeping up into that. Well, he's got to give you a top 10, top 15 to pay off. And the last time we had a top 15 at a major for Berger was at Shinnecock Hills so long ago. And even then, he snuck through the cut line and went out Saturday morning on a much easier golf course than the golfers that teed off in the afternoon did. So a little bit of luck there going into one of his best career major finishes. Though since then, it just hasn't been good. So for me, I'm going to take the other side of 24% own Daniel Berger and be fading him. Likely going to come in around 10 to 12%. So it's almost about a 50% fade. All right, let's go 5-1. Bryson DeChambeau, that's a pretty big fade. 17% projected. I'll be around 10%. Webb Simpson, 13% projected. I'll have about 5. Tyrrell Hatton, 18% projected. I'll have about 5. Corey Connors, 20% projected. I'll be between 7 and 10. And Daniel Berger, 25% projected. I'll be around 10 to 12%. All right, that's going to do it here for my PGA DFS top 5 fades. Of course, we've got something fun coming tomorrow evening. Of course, Ben Raz and Eric Lindquist are going to break down all of the information you need to know that has happened in the last 3 days. And then at the end, we're going to do an Awesemo roundtable. I'm going to be joining the show, talking about our top plays, our top fades, our top surprises, and so much more in that 8:40 range. So stay tuned for that. Check in with us Wednesday night. I'll be on around 8:30, 8:40. The boys will start at 8 o'clock. So until then, everybody, good luck this week at the PGA Championship. Make sure you tweet us when you win the $1 million. We love to enjoy the successes with you. So until next week, everybody, good luck, and we'll see you on the other side. Cheers.